All right, and welcome back to our service video series on the Freedom PS21 pellet stove. So in this particular video, I want to cover the what I call an ESP Thermistor probe. It's also known as the Thermocouple that's in the stove. So it says blue wire right here going right into the exhaust. We're going to look inside the exhaust and be able to see the tip of it right in there. So this particular probe is in place and it is monitoring our exhaust temperature and giving signal directly to the control board. So this particular probe controls a lot of things during startup and during normal operation. So if we're seeing error codes or we're running into issues with our temperature control startup going into normal operation, we definitely want to inspect this particular probe. So Nate's going to show us how this probe kind of comes out from this. And we're just going to kind of go over some basic tips and tricks when it comes to this particular probe. So he just has a needle nose pliers. As you can see, we just have a small grommet right here on the exhaust manifold. And basically the probe is going to pull right out from that grommet. Now sometimes this probe has some buildup on there, like some exhaust gunk that's on there, and it can be a little challenging to pull through it. So again, having a good pliers, giving it a good grip, being patient, generally wiggling it through there is going to allow you to kind of release that in the best way. Again, this probe can get built up a little bit. So if you're not seeing it brass like what you're seeing here, if it's black or if it's gunked up, use some really fine steel wool, like a 000 steel wool or a Scotch-Brite pad, and rub that down, get it back to that bare brass like that. And that would just be good advice on just your annual maintenance to check this probe, clean it. Cleaner it is, the better it's going to be sensing temperature accurately. Now this probe goes from here, and we're just going to follow those wires back right into the main motherboard or circuit board. So we can see where that goes in, right there, and we just kind of have a press fit right there. So Nate, why don't we go ahead and unplug that? This one does have a small clip that Nate depressed with his thumb right there. So it can only go in one way. Depress that down, pull it out. All right, let's go ahead and snap that back in there, Nate. So again, goes on those two pins. As you will see, there are two pins beneath that are left open right there, okay? So again, always good to, if you need to, take a picture just so that you have a good reference as you're disconnecting things from the control board. Otherwise, note that it goes above the two open pins right there. It can only go on one way. So again, that follows back. Let's go ahead and put the probe back in the exhaust there, Nate. For the most part, our probe looks pretty clean, but you can still see a little bit of discoloration on it, and if it's out, yeah, putting a little bit of steel wool on there to clean it up can work out really well. Now when it's put back in, we want to make sure that it's clearly visible inside of that exhaust. Nate, does it have to go in a little bit further than where it is currently right now, or what is the distance there that we want to make sure that that's in?
I think that's about right.
About right there. Okay. So we are going to see a little bit of that metal right there sticking back out. And again, as we look on the inside right here, I would say that's probably close to a half of an inch that is sticking inside of the exhaust. So that's going to be a good basis to go upon when you're pulling that out and putting it back in. Make sure there's about a half inch that's on the inside of that exhaust right there. And again, we will have a little bit protruding, but that is going to be the what's referred to as the Thermocouple or the ESP Thermistor exhaust probe. How we take that out, best recommendations for cleaning that, and where that plugs in on the circuit board. Again, anytime you're working with any of the circuitry on the stove, make sure that it's unplugged from the wall before we're back here doing what we're doing. So that should be it on that. Any questions, leave us a comment down below. We're always here, we're always happy to help, and we will see you in the next video.